There is a beach in Albania that flamingos have called home for centuries. Last month, someone put a barbed wire fence around it, and within 48 hours, an entire country exploded. Meet Jared Kushner, son-in-law of Donald Trump, former White House senior advisor. Now, private equity guy. His firm? Affinity Partners. But here's what most people don't know about Affinity Partners. When Kushner left the White House in 2021, he raised $2 billion, almost overnight. Where did it come from? Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund, the Public Investment Fund, chaired personally by Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. They contributed $1.5 billion. Qatar's sovereign wealth fund added another $500 million. Let that sink in. A man who spent 4 years as a senior White House advisor, handling Middle East diplomacy, meeting with these exact governments, walks out the door, and within months, those same governments hand him $2 billion to invest. No prior track record in private equity, no established fund, no history of returns, just $2 billion. The US Senate called it a staggering conflict of interest. Ethic watchdogs flagged it. Journalists wrote about it. And then, it kind of disappeared from the news cycle. Fast forward to 2024. Affinity Partners needs deals. Real deals. Visible ones. And someone looks at the map of Europe and sees a small country on the Adriatic. Beautiful coastline. Weak institutions. A government eager to impress Washington. And in 2024, he had a big idea. Albania has a coastline that nobody's paying attention to. Let's fix that. The plan, 4 billion euros, 2 locations. First, Sazan Island, a former secret Soviet military base, Cold War bunkers, abandoned, declassified in December 2024. Kushner's vision, turn it into a luxury eco-resort, managed by Aman Hotels. Second, the Vjosa-Narta wetlands, protected coastline, home to flamingos, Mediterranean monk seals, and over 200 bird species. Kushner's vision for that one, hotels, villas, a marina. The Albanian government called it an extraordinary project. Here's where it gets interesting. Normally, a project like this, on protected land, takes years of environmental review, public consultation, permits. This one didn't. The deal was structured through a local firm called Atlantic Incubation Partners, LLC, linked to Kushner's Affinity Partners. Atlantic Incubation Partners. Now, quick geography check. Albania is on the Adriatic Sea, right here. The Atlantic Ocean is over here. That's Portugal. That's Spain. That's a completely different body of water, about 2,000 kilometers away. We're not saying the name means anything. We're just saying, if you're going to develop Albanian coastline, maybe name your company after the right ocean. Anyway, the Albanian government granted this firm strategic investor status. That's a special designation that fast-tracks permits and unlocks government incentives. Changes were made to the protected status of the land in 2024. No public documentation, no public consultation, and somehow, land that had been farmed by Albanian families for generations was now available. May 2026. Excavators show up. Access routes cleared. Pine trees cut. Sand dug up. And then, barbed wire goes around the beach at Zvernek, the same beach Albanian families have been swimming in for generations. Then, on May 30th, a video goes viral. Private security guards, faces hidden, beating a protester. Police standing nearby, not intervening. By midnight, it was everywhere, except, notably, on most Albanian mainstream television. 5 words started appearing on signs, on walls, on social media. Albania is not for sale. Thousands marched in the capital of Tirana, outside the Prime Minister's office, holding inflatable flamingos for 4 consecutive nights. And then the numbers grew and grew. The chants were clear. Cancel the project. Remove the bulldozers. Restore the habitat. Protesters weren't angry about one thing. They were angry about 3. 1. The environment. This is the most ecologically critical wetlands on the Adriatic. The Vjosa River became Europe's first wild river national park in 2023. 3 years later, excavators are digging into its delta. 2. Corruption. Albania's Anti-Corruption Office, SPAK, opened a formal investigation. They froze the bank accounts of a land company tied to the project. The question? Where did the money come from to buy this protected land? And who approved the legal changes that made it available? 3. Geopolitics. Critics say Albania's government gave Kushner preferential treatment to curry favor with the Trump White House. Albania denied it. But the timeline is hard to ignore. The Albanian Prime Minister Edi Rama said, and I'm paraphrasing, that the project will not stop, that Albania should not fear extraordinary opportunities. Kushner's camp hasn't issued major statements. Ivanka Trump had already visited the Vlora region earlier, with architects and investors in tow. She called Sazan Island a find, and 40 environmental organizations have already called for the project's suspension back in January. Nobody listened. Here's the thing. This isn't just about one beach, or one billionaire, or one corrupt deal, alleged. This is about a question that more and more countries are starting to ask out loud. When powerful people want your land, and they're connected to even more powerful people, what options do you actually have? Albania is a small country. Its GDP is around $22 billion. The Kushner project alone is worth $4 billion. That's not an investment. That's leverage. And right now, thousands of Albanians are saying, we see what you are doing, and we are not moving. The investigation is ongoing. The protests are still happening, as of right now. SPAK has frozen assets. Bulldozers are still on site. And those flamingos, still there, for now. If you want to understand how power actually works in the 21st century, this story is a masterclass. Leave a comment. Do you think the project gets cancelled? Or does the money win?